Let's talk about love, like you and me all night, and let's talk about love, and feeling alright, and let's talk about love. Yeah, baby, come and dance with me, everything you'll ever need. So let's talk about love.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Let me know if you can see and hear me. If you are new here, my name is Dee. I write under the pen name Sky Winter. You can find me everywhere on the internet under Sky Winter Books. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so this is week 9 in my Tropey Tuesday series. I'm trying something new. I'm trying to just do it live because I don't have time to edit, and here we are. So we are going to be, oh, my camera is jumping. 1 second. 1 second. The camera is doing weird things. Weird things. It is back, hopefully. Let me move away from it a little bit. Okay, so today, hey, Esther. Oh, I'm not alone. Hello, James. Hi, Laura. Hi, Esther. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. So this is Tropey Tuesdays, where we do a deep dives of tropes. Right now, I am currently going through romance tropes for this season. This is episode 9, and we're going to be talking about chronic/terminal illnesses, what that is, how to go about doing that. I'm going to give you some examples of doing that and a nice little prompt where you can go ahead and practice. All right. Now, before I dive in, if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe because I do videos like this every Tuesday and I will be doing them going forward. I do also do other random videos. I did do an AWC presentation on Saturday morning about writing shorts, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if you're interested in writing romance shorts, go ahead and check that out. I had amazing friends with me. It was a really good time. It had good information. So check that out. I also had a recent release called One Night with Summer. So if romance is your vibe and you like military, small town romance, accidental baby, surprise pregnancies, then go ahead and check this out. It's available on Amazon and KU, and you can start reading it today. All right, so this will be a quick video. I'm not going to be here very long. We're just going to go through the information. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and I'll try to get to them. If not, you can leave them in the comments below. Thank you, Esther. Remember to like the video too. Yes, like the video. It does help me in the algos here on YouTube. And be sure to subscribe if you're not. Oh, Laura's making brownies. So yummy. I wish I was close so I could get some. Okay, so let's dive into chronic illnesses. So chronic illnesses/terminal illnesses, as the name suggests, is about characters that are suffering from or going through or dealing, trying to use the right words here, with chronic illnesses. Now, this should not just be thrown in for throwing in sake. In order for it to be considered as a trope, you want it to be a driving force in your romance or in your novel, because this is one of those tropes that can be used in multiple genres. So you want to ensure that A, it is realistic, and B, that there is a reason for you throwing this in. Representation matters. So if you're going to go ahead and add a terminal or chronic illness representation in your book, you're going to have to ensure that you are doing your research. If you're not a part of that community, ask yourself, if I was suffering from this, how would this impact me? Is it doing more harm than good in the community? Do I have anyone in the community where I could probably have them read it? So there are additional steps that you need to take when basically diving into this. These are chronic/terminal illnesses. Chronic illnesses, by definition, are illnesses that they're with your immune system, so they're not going anywhere. You're living with these for life, right? So they're very sensitive topics, and terminal, as you already may have imagined, means that it can and may eventually become fatal, right? There is a time clock on it. So as you can imagine, this is very, 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 very sensitive. So you want to ensure that these characters are displaying the doing justice to the illness. Whatever illness you choose, you want to ensure that you're doing your research. You're not spreading propaganda. So you're not out here saying it's a magical this or a magical that, because that can be very offensive and disrespectful to the people that are going through. So my main tip, if you choose to write chronic illnesses as a trope into your book, is the very first thing I would suggest you do before you even go any further. If you don't suffer from this personally, start seeking out people that are currently going through this illness, or know people around them, or professionally do sensitivity reads in this area so that they can read it for you, right? As Esther says in the comments, you don't want to accidentally be doing the praying it away. That does not work, right? You have to basically ensure that you are looking into what these people are going through, what they're experiencing. I suffer from chronic illnesses. For example, if you're going to be talking about, say, rheumatoid arthritis or fibromyalgia, or the host that I have, right? When I read books with the representation of the sicknesses that I have, the first thing that throws me out of the story is if it's not realistic, right? Most sicknesses, especially if you're doing illnesses that are not visual, right? There are a lot of invisible illnesses, is what I call them, that the person may be suffering internally, but it's not being, you can't see it from just looking at them. They'll be smiling. Like right now, I am in pain, but I'm smiling. I'm here. I'm sitting here, right? What you may not know is that as soon as the camera goes off, I have to go in bed. I have to curl. I have to take pills. So you want to lean into that and make it realistic, right? If you are going to do the back and forth where maybe you're writing this with your aim of basically bringing awareness to this illness, then you want to ensure that you are showing that representation behind the scenes, right? So if the person puts on a happy face and goes to work, maybe in that lunch period, you're showing what they're going through. And then if it's a romance, your love interest can either be learning along with this person, or maybe they already understand it, so they can spot the signs of what that person is going through, and that can be a bond. The sickness should not just be a little tool or a prop. You want it to basically influence everything this character is going through. So you want it to basically dictate their personality, dictate the actions they take. Someone who is in pain would communicate different to someone else that may be in pain, or to someone else that may be insensitive to pain. So their situation should drive their whole existence, basically. So someone that has an illness, certain illness, would not eat certain things. They would not be doing certain things like bungee jumping. Maybe if I know that I have a certain illness, I may not be, but unless I have a bucket list, which is completely different, I'll talk about that in a second. For the chronic illness side, you want to ensure that the things that they're doing, the actions they're taking, the way they speak, the way they interact is realistic to what they're going through. So you have to do your research. If you're going the terminal illness route, this is even more sensitive because, again, there are people living in the real world that are going through this on a daily basis. Sure, it's fiction, and there are some liberties you can take in fiction, but you want to ensure that nothing you're doing is insensitive or disrespectful. So, for example, if you are doing, say you're talking about the big C, right? You're talking about your character has cancer, which is terminal, right? Hi, Morgan. you want to be sure that you are giving due diligence to what that person may be going through, right? So you want to ensure you're not just taking the propaganda from, you're not just doing a simple Google search. Oh, okay, Google says I can be going through chemotherapy and I can have a full lush head of hair, and you don't want to spread harmful rhetorics. So I would say maybe seek someone out that has that illness or is going through that. Set up an interview. People are very nice if you just take the chance. A lot of times we don't do things because we're afraid and we don't want to just go and take the chance. There's a lot of people in our very community here on Authortube that are going through the very illnesses that we speak of, right? So I'm sure that if you want to write about someone with, say, IBS or with other chronic illnesses, side note, our friend Barrett Laurie, he also divulges into talks and his podcast. He talks about Gut Instinct is his podcast. He talks about chronic illnesses. He dives into chronic illnesses. He does interviews with people suffering from the illnesses. So if you want to learn more, that's a great resource. Do your research. Maybe reach out to someone that he's had on his podcast, or reach out to him to see, hey, do you know anyone that maybe is going through this, where I can just talk to ensure that I'm getting their experience right on paper, right? You have to do your due diligence. I've said that a lot, but that's the most important thing when writing about characters with chronic illnesses or terminal illnesses. Do your due diligence, right? Laura says, serious illness is not set dressing. That's perfect. Perfect analogy. It's not just dressing. It influences every aspect of a person's life. It doesn't just disappear during the finale, right? It doesn't just disappear when the happy ever after comes, right? This person is going to be, they don't magically become able-bodied when you say, I love you, right? This is something that this person lives with. So you want to also ensure that your characters are having these conversations, right? Use that, especially in a romance, right? This is the romance section of the Tropey Tuesdays, right? So we're focusing mostly on romance or romantic drama, even if it's just a subplot. Even romance is just a subplot in your novel. Ensure that you're having those tough conversations, right? It won't be realistic if someone is suffering from a terminal illness and they're going through their romance arc and it's not discussed once, right? One of the examples that I have for you, the movie example, well, it's an adaptation, so it's both a movie and a book, but that example you'll see where it drove the characters' actions, right? They did not want to find love because they knew in their mind it wouldn't be fair to the next person, because they knew that they had a time limit. It's sad, but they knew they had a time limit on life, so they did not want the other person to fall in love with them, right? And so there are different ways you can dive into this. Another popular way that people use this trope or do a spin-off of this trope is the bucket list aspect, right? The person finds out they have a time limit on life, and so they decide they're going to do every single thing they've ever wanted to do, and they're going to do it in this set time frame. Hello, Dolores. Thank you for dropping by. It's just a quick live. It's just a Tropey Tuesdays that I normally do in video form. I'm trying out to see how it works in live so that I don't have to edit afterwards, because I do have a lot of things I want to get through. So, right. So you want to ensure that if they're doing the bucket list, right, they're doing it because they don't have a lot of time left, right? So they want to ensure that they live a full life. Now, this person these can be anything, right? Don't think that because you're going to do a bucket list, it has to be, oh, I'm going to jump out of a plane. It could be something simple. For example, if your character lives in a small town and has always lived in a small town all their life and has never left, a thing on their bucket list could just be crossing the border, right? It would be a very romantic gesture if whoever they're falling in love with sets up something where they just step across the border, right? Even if they can't, because the illness they have may not allow them to travel far distances, right? But it would be a very romantic gesture if maybe that person learned about their illnesses and decided to help them with their bucket list and just brought them to step across the border, right? Maybe they wanted to be in two places at once. I don't remember where I saw this done in, but it was it was a very romantic and sweet gesture where the person had one foot across the border and one foot in their town. So they were standing in two places at once. So be creative, make sure that it counts. You can get a very strong emotional connection from doing chronic and terminal illnesses, but just ensure, once more, I sound like an echo, just ensure that you do your research and you're being respectful, not being insensitive, and get a sensitivity reader. All right, so I'm going to dive into our examples. This is all oftentimes where I dive into the example. I'm going to start with a movie example. The movie I'm going to be using today is an adaptation of a Nicholas Sparks movie, a Nicholas Sparks book, sorry. It's one of my favorite movies. Yes, I'm aging myself with all these examples, but it's the 2002 movie A Walk to Remember. I am not using the trailer. Normally I would show the trailer. I'm not using the trailer this time because I don't know how that background music would work on a live. So I've purposely sought out the scene that it follows Jamie and Langdon, I think his name was. And basically Jamie is suffering from an illness and it's driven her, and it's a YA novel, right? A YA romantic drama is how I would categorize it. And Jamie has lived her whole life driven. She's always been a great kid, but 3 years ago or a couple of years ago, she got diagnosed with leukemia. And it basically changed how Landon, thank you, Esther. It basically changed how she looks at life, right? So now she is going through and she's just been trying to live her life. She's accepted it. And then here comes Landon, right? That is falling for her and she's getting feelings for her. And so that's the setup for this scene. So let's take a look at this example and how that enhanced the plot. Here we go. Let me know if you can hear the video. If not, I can restart it.
Great. Citizen high to citizen level. You worried about your college applications?
No. I'm not applying to college.
I thought you said
No. You assumed.
you gonna take a year off, try the Peace Corps thing?
No.
Hey, what are you gonna do?
I'm sick.
I'll take you home. You'll be better
No,
tomorrow.
no, Landon. I'm sick. I have leukemia.
No. You're 18. You're perfect.
No. I found out 2 years ago, and I've stopped responding to treatments.
So why didn't you tell me?
The doctor said I should go on and live life normally as best I could. I don't want anybody to be weird around me.
Including me?
Especially you. You know, I was getting along with everything fine. I accepted it, and then you happen. I do not need a reason to be angry with God.
Okay, so that was the right. I love this movie so much. I love this movie. I'm right there with you, Morgan. I'm right there with you. And right, it was so powerful. So that's what I'm saying, where you have to use, if you're going to use the chronic illness trope at all, chronic illness, terminal illnesses, you want to be sure that A, it has a reason to be there. B, it's driving everything. Leading up to this scene, we saw where we could sense where there was something wrong with her, right? We didn't know exactly what was going on from the jump, but she started out as a normal Christian teenager, right? She was heavy on doing what her dad wants, following the rules, doing living life to her fullest, basically, to what she could, right? She was just this passive. She came off as this passive character that was just going through the motions, but we could sense that there was something more to her, right? And then Landon comes along where she was just tutoring him, and they started forming a connection, right? She would talk to him. Of course, it's YA, so he's the popular kid. She is more of the, I hate this word, but she's more of the geeky type, right? And so we see them forming a connection, and we see her being resistant to it, but we're not sure why. She tries to talk to him in school at one point, and he pretends that, you know, he doesn't really know her, then shows up for help, right? And so she gives him a chance eventually. They start growing together, forming a connection. She warns him not to fall in love with me. Of course, he thinks this is hysterical because he's a popular kid, right? she's not his type, not normally in his league, but of course a connection forms, and it builds to the point where she has to tell him, and this is the scene where she's telling him, hey, she's dying. This is, and it's so heartfelt because, you know, she's accepted it. She wasn't, it was like you reach that point where you're no longer, like, you accepted, you feel like you've done everything you need to do, and you're just waiting on your time, and then here comes something or someone that you would want to live for, right? And that's why it was so impactful. So be sure that when you're doing this, you're leaning into all the nuances of having an illness and what that means for your love life, for romance, for just you living life to the fullest, right? You want to lean into that. So that was the movie. It's also a book. It's a Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. It was turned into an adaptation in 2002. I'll have all the links below in the description box for you to check it out. We will move to our first bookish example. I'm going to share my screen. It's on Goodreads. I'm showing you on Goodreads. So let me go ahead and share my screen. The first bookish example that we will be using is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I'll just share my screen. I'm going to read you the blurb so you can go through it with me. Let me share my screen really quickly. I'll share the whole screen for it to save time. Okay. And hopefully you're seeing my screen now. I can't see your chat anymore. But this is Get a Life, Chloe Brown. It's by Talia Hibbert. It's a really, really good book. Just so you know what you're walking into, the blurb or the description says, Chloe Brown is a chronically ill computer geek with a goal, a plan, and a list. After almost but not quite dying, she comes up with six directives to help her get a life. And she's already completed the first, finally moving out of her glamorous family's mansion. The next items: enjoy a drunken night out, ride a motorcycle, go camping, have meaningless but thoroughly enjoyable sex, travel the world with nothing but hand luggage, and do something bad, right? But it's not easy being bad, even when you've written step-by-step guidelines on how to do it correctly. What Chloe needs is a teacher, and she knows just the man for the job. Redford Red Morgan is a handyman with tattoos, a motorcycle, and more sex appeal than 10,000 Hollywood heartthrobs. He's also an artist who paints at night and hides his work in the light of day, which Chloe knows because she spies on him occasionally, just the teeniest bit. But when she enlists Red in her mission to rebel, she learns things about him that no spy session could teach her, like why he clearly resents Chloe's wealthy background, and why he never shows his art to anyone, and what really lies beneath his rough exterior. So this book is called Get a Life, Chloe Brown. It's not my favorite in the series. I like book 2 better, which is Get a Life, Danny Brown. Get a Hint, Danny Brown, sorry. But this book is perfect for this trope because Chloe's life is driven by the fact that she has a chronic illness that may become fatal, and she wants to ensure that she lives her life to the fullest before her clock runs out, right? So she is on a mission. She sees this handyman. She likes him secretly. She's been going through spying on him, and she decides, you're who's going to help me with my list. And so it's very fun. There's a lot of back and forth. Talia Hibbert's entire catalog is really great if you want to read books with chronic illness representation. The first one here goes through more like physical chronic illnesses. The second book that I enjoy, Take a Hint, Danny Brown, is more neurological. The hero in that one suffers from anxiety disorder, sort of PTSD, but it's more anxiety. And she really does good representation. So if you're looking for an author or a book series that can really show you how to properly do illness rep and do it well while leaning into using that to enhance your romance plot, your romance arc, Talia Hibbert is a great place to start. All right, so those are our 2 examples. I'm doing great on time. It's 25 minutes in. Perfect. I'm wrapping up. So those were her examples. The movie was A Walk to Remember. The book was Get a Life, Chloe Brown. And so the only thing left for me to do with you guys is give you the prompt. As y'all know, the prompts generally come from my head. I pull it from my uncle. So here is a prompt we're going to use this week for Tropey Tuesdays for chronic illness rep. Okay, we're going to say your protagonist is a male. He's a footballer. He was. Hold on. Making me want to work on my romance or the MC. Oh, yes, Morgan. Yes, that would be perfect for you because you have intimate details on what this illness entails. So go for it. I say go for it. I'd love to read it. Sorry, back to our, this is why I don't do live. I get distracted very easily. Back to our prompt. So your male, say age 30, male. He was a footballer. He had a concussion. He had multiple concussions. And those concussions left him with brain damage, right? Which he knows eventually can lead to Alzheimer's. So he lives with that. He does not want to find love because he does not want people taking care of him. And so he's been going through his life all this time as a retired footballer. And here comes this new woman to town. It's a small town romance. I should learn with that. Here comes this new woman to town that rocks his world. There is a storm coming. She gets stranded. He finds her in the woods. And the only place for her to stay is with him. So we got that brain illnesses. We have that we have the brain damage from concussions. We have the forced proximity because she's going to have to stay with him. There's a snowstorm outside and he does not want to have a woman around him. He doesn't want to find love. He doesn't want anyone to get attached. That's the prompt. Have fun with it. Let me know if you write it. Let me know. Just reach out to me. I'm Sky Winter Books on all platforms. If you do write it, I want to read it. All right. So that's going to wrap up our Tropey Tuesdays episode for this week on chronic or terminal illnesses. If you have any questions, I don't see any questions in the live chat, but if you have any questions after we wrap up, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I will respond. I respond to all my comments and we'll start a discussion there. Again, my name is Deidre. I write under the pen name Sky Winter Books. So you can follow me all around the interwebs. I also do beta reading on Ko-fi, on Upwork, and on Fiverr. My Upwork is upwork.com/freelancers/Deidre. The link is also down below in the description. So reach out to me if you need any bookish design or beta reading. Again, I did have a book release recently. I will show you if I can. No, I don't have it anymore. I did have a book release recently. It's One Night with Summer. It is in KU. It is on Amazon. So you can pick that up if that's something that you are interested in. I will be around the interwebs. Thank you, Esther. This was my first time doing a live on my own. I'm venturing out, I'm venturing out. So let me know if you enjoyed this live version of it. I appreciated it. I won't have to edit this after. So it was brilliant for me. Let me know if you prefer this format. And diverse book designs. This is my website if you want graphic designs. Right now, the prices are very affordable. If you only do ebook designs, you can get a custom ebook design for $50, y'all. The prices are very affordable. So be sure to check that out. I also do journals, customized journals if you're working on it that are fully digital. So I got a lot of things going on. All right, this is my book here. Thank you guys. Esther is amazing. I had no links planned. I'm not used to going live. But yes, this is the link. All is also down in the description. This has been amazing. Be sure to save your work. Like the video. Let me know that you enjoyed what we went through. Hit that subscribe button and ding that notification bell so you can be notified each and every time I upload. I am going to say bye. I'm going to try to do an outro. Hopefully it works. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, guys. Thank you for dropping by and talking about these tropes with me, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys. Oh, my friend Nia has a stream tonight, 7 o'clock, Vixen of Fiction. I will be on her stream if you're going to be being productive. Esther, can you drop that link in the chat as well? And support all of my Authortuber friends because we are all in this together. I will see you next week. Have a great Tuesday. Bye, guys.
Let's talk about love, like you and me all night, and let's talk about love. I'm feeling alright, and let's talk about love. Yeah, baby, come and dance with me.